So, guess who woke up late and has a list of chores that they wanted to get done, but wasn't actually able to get them done? This is all implying me that I had a list of things that I wanted to get done, and I'm just now barely getting started on it. One of them being this video, and then the rest of them, I'm looking at a list with like 9 bullet points on it, and it's ridiculous. So I want to get this shit done tonight, so I don't have to work on it later in the week. So have a regular, I suppose, narration, but a really good game against a guy by the name of Paco1998. More or less kind of a standard thing. I have a lot of games with this team, understand that. Probably about as many games as NBZ has with this 5 guys in a Gigalith team. It's a lot. So we're just going to go ahead and jump right into it. He's going to go ahead and lead off with Victini. No, I lead off with Victini. What? I lead off with Victini. You know, against my better judgment, I decided to go for the U-turn on the off chance, you know, that he could have been Scarfed too. But I don't remember what kind of Victini I was. I was assuming that if he was just a plus attacking nature, I would be faster. If he does happen to be Scarfed, which I'm pretty sure he does end up being Scarfed. But anyway, I get the U-turn, he goes for the U-turn, puts himself in the position where Virizion is against Vaporeon. I decide to go for the Toxic. Either he makes a very aggressive prediction, you know, predicting me to do that, or, you know, just kind of switches this thing into taking Ice Beam. I don't know what his mindset was on that, but it almost worked out pretty well for him, even though he does have the Toxic Orb. For now, he goes for Protect to see what I'm going to go for. Kind of pointless at that point. But I am going to go for Scald, and then I am predicting him to switch out at this point because he does not want to take a Scald, obviously. So I go for Toxic on the switch, catch Virizion like I initially wanted to. But the thing is, I don't really know a lot about this Virizion, so I'm going to stay in Scout out its set a little bit. It could end up working pretty badly for me, but I did end up wishing on this turn, so I can Wish, Protect, and then, you know, Toxic will take its toll on him. He is a special Virizion as opposed to a physical, so I'm kind of glad I got the Toxic on him to kind of offset the Giga Drain, as opposed to, you know, if he was a physical one, I would have Scalded and tried to burn him. Just kind of went with the blind move on that one. It ended up working out a little better. But for now, I am going to predict another Giga Drain or a Calm Mind. I really don't care what. I don't know what special Virizion can do to touch Victini unless it has some weird-ass hidden power, but they usually end up having hidden power Ice, I think. So, if he goes for Calm Mind, then, you know, great. I end up wasting the Wish. If he goes for Giga Drain, even if he gets a crit, I should be able to be up back to full. And I'm in a good spot. So I'm kind of tempted to V-Create, but he does still have Hydreigon, Swampert, and I believe Gliscor as well. So V-Creating's not going to be the best option right now, but it does scare him off. So I'm going to get to go for the U-turn as he switches into Swampert. I don't know anything about this Swampert, and seeing Deoxys' defense on his team, I probably should have suspected that this is a more offensive Swampert. Or, you know, I thought at least it would have Stealth Rocks, and maybe Deoxys would have had Spikes. That's why I switch in my Espeon now, only to take a really, really powerful Earthquake. It almost ends up killing me off, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to stay in on the off chance that he predicts my switch and decides to set them up now. But it was like, you know, with a name like Super, maybe it's I thought it was like, you know, Max Attack or something like that. I don't know. I'm looking at it now, and it was just so fucking obvious. I don't really know why I didn't switch it out. But I ended up wasting Espeon. Probably would have done a lot better against Deoxys since I do have Shadow Ball and then Magic Bounce, and then he wouldn't have been able to, if he had Taunt or, you know, I think he has Stealth Rocks and Spikes on his Deoxys, so kind of sucks, but we'll see how that plays out in the future. For now, I'm going to go ahead and go for the Dynamic Punch with Machamp. I am surprisingly faster. I guess I kind of expected to be a little bit slower for some reason since he is an offensive Swampert. But he doesn't hit himself in Confusion, and I end up taking an Earthquake. Not too well at all. If you look at that, it does over half. And I'm kind of tempted to sub up here, but if Gliscor comes in, then that's just kind of stupid. So I'm just going to go for a payback while I can, while I know I'm faster. If he switches out, it'll be boosted, and if he stays in, it should be enough to take him out. So in either case, it works out pretty good, and I still maintain a decent amount of health. I do not, under any circumstances, want to stay in for Gliscor or Deoxys if it does happen to have, you know, Psychic. Some do, some don't. It really depends on personal preference. But he coaxes me into a double switch, which is a very good play on his behalf. But I believe I end up going out into my Scizor, and I make a really stupid play here. I'm like, okay, maybe a stock Bullet Punch will be able to take it out from there. And I'm overestimating Scizor by a lot. If he was in the yellow, maybe. But I took a chance right there. It didn't end up working out, and I end up getting roasted by a fucking Fire Blast. Cool thing is right now is I know that I'm safe to bring in Victini on the off chance that he is a Scarf one or a choiced one like I'm suspecting he is. So as he decides to switch out, I'm definitely going to go ahead and go for the U-turn regardless of what he brings in. Looks like Gliscor, or no, I guess I don't go for that. I guess figure, you know, since Swampert's gone, I can go for V-Create. relatively safely. That kind of works out too. It doesn't end up doing a whole hell of a lot to Gliscor, but it's going to force him to protect for a few turns, otherwise, you know, just stall to get his HP back up. And then I decide to switch out right now, predicting the Protect, to go into my Gengar, since I know I believe the standard Gliscor, at least the one I'm familiar with, is like Protect, Swords Dance, Earthquake, and Ice Fang. So as soon as he starts using Ice Fang, I can just disable shit like that, and it kind of works out. Now here's a scenario I don't really like to be in. Gengar versus Scizor. Never really works out for me unless it's choice banded. But that's what I'm going to go for on the off chance that he is, you know, he does go for the Bullet Punch. I believe I decide to go for the sub again on the off chance he actually ends up being a choice banded one. And I can disable on this next turn after he Bullet Punches. But I see that my disable goes first before his move, meaning that he is not in fact choiced, and that's not really that good. His other form of stab is Bug Bite, so I believe I quad resist that, which is good and bad. It means that it's going to take him 2 hits to break my sub. But his other 2 moves are more than likely going to end up being Swords Dance and Roost. So I'm going to go for a couple Focus Blasts here just to scout out the rest of his set while I'm behind his sub, you know, just get some HP back from lefties and whatnot from double subbing and shit. Turns out he does have Swords Dance, but it looks like I kind of want to chance it. If I'm behind a sub, I think I can chance 2 Focus Blasts and hopefully just end up taking him out at the end of this turn. Since it did put him in yellow, he's probably really close to 50% HP. But I miss. So all that, you know, contemplating about whether or not I should have risked it is just kind of useless, as I believe he is now +2 at full HP, and he's pretty intent on stalling me out of Focus Blast, which he can. So I'm not going to want to keep Gengar in here for too long. I guess the thing in the back of my mind is once he's not disabled, he's going to be tempted to go for a Bullet Punch. So in that case, I can either go out to Victini or to Vaporeon to resist either one. The smarter thing would probably be to go out into Vaporeon, you know, to Wish Protect and do a little bit of that stuff. But I think I just find an opportunity somewhere along the way. I believe it's in the next 2 turns. It could be on this next turn right now that yeah, he's not disabled. And for some reason, I substitute up right there. Don't really know what I was expecting, but he goes for a Bug Bite. I believe that was just predicting my switch, so that could have been a potentially good play. I made a stupid one right there, which actually ended up turning out being good. So I don't have a sub anymore. But what I'm going to do right now, go ahead and switch out, decide to go into Victini, as I was previously talking about as he goes for the Bullet Punch. Does amount of damage, probably around 30%. And here I kind of noticed in this game that we both over-predicted with our Scizors, and because of that, we just kind of ended up getting cooked by fire moves. He very easily could have gone into Gliscor right there to take it, but he was probably banking on the off chance that I would go for a U-turn, and he would just end up going for a Bug Bite on the switch on just about anything. If I did go for U-turn, I probably would have gone on Vaporeon, so that's probably how that would have played out. But we both end up losing our Scizors, that I previously mentioned, kind of funny. But for now, I'm either expecting to take a Dark Pulse or to fodder this thing out. If I took a Dark Pulse, that would be great. I would probably be like a 2 to 3 hit KO, I would assume. But he just decides to go for Draco right off the bat, which is pretty safe as well. So right now he's at -2. I'm pretty sure my Vaporeon can come in and handle business. You know, just go for a Wish on the switch as he decides to go into his Deoxys. Now, the things I'm looking at right now is if I can get a sub up with Gengar, I should be in a pretty good boat since he has Deoxys. He has Gliscor, which can't really touch me too much. I'm probably just going to end up needing the sub for Hydreigon just to take a hit from it if it is faster. And then Virizion will end up dying to toxic damage and a couple of Shadow Balls. So that's the boat I can put myself in if I play around this pretty carefully. So I decided to wish myself up to full on the off chance that I do need it for a later purpose. And then right now I'm gonna, you know, make an attempt to Wish Pass, and I believe he tries to go for the Seismic Toss right here, trying to catch something on the switch. Seismic Toss or Nightshade both have immunities, both do the same thing, both are kind of preferred. It just so happens that he has the wrong one for this situation because he can now no longer touch me. He has Stealth Rock, Spikes, probably Seismic Toss and Recover, no Taunt, but it does let me get a sub up on the switch, and I believe this is the best thing he has for it. He can Calm Mind up and then hit me with HP Ices, but outside of that, he's gonna have to let something die so we can bring in Hydreigon safely, and as long as I have a sub by the time he dies, I think I can pull this out the bag here. So I'm gonna go for the Shadow Ball on the Virizion, and I believe it does a decent chunk of damage. Probably around 30%, something like that. Anyway, he's going to go for another Calm Mind. It doesn't really benefit him too much to go for Giga Drain other than to just drain my sub and get a little bit of HP back. I believe he would probably just want to end up going for his Hidden Power to break my subs and whatnot. What do we have going on here? I think I sub right here for some stupid reason. I have no idea why I did it. Again, I was like, oh, you know, I'll sub even though I'm faster, even though in order for that to work, you would have to be slower. But I don't have my sub right now, and I guess he kind of expected me to just stay in and try to attack, even though I could just end up taking out his Hydreigon if it switches in. This will be taken out, Hydreigon will be taken out if it wants to switch in on something, but I just go for the sub, and that's basically going to seal the game at this point, because now that I have a sub up and Hydreigon's in, if it wants to go for the U-turn, I will more than likely end up being able to take that. So his only choice is to go for a Dark Pulse to break the sub, and I'm just going to go for a Shadow Ball to take it out from this range because I don't want Focus Blast to miss. I was kind of iffy as to whether or not this would actually work, but I guess I'm kind of underestimating Gengar's spec attack or overestimating Hydreigon's defenses. You know, either or, they just kind of work out. So, hey, doing good. Virizion is also at a nice range of health where I believe I can take it out with the Shadow Ball. Based on the amount of damage I did to it with the first one. And if it doesn't, toxic damage will be nice. I'm pretty close to full, so I'm pretty sure I can take any single one of its hits and have that work out for me. So Gengar going on somewhat of a late game rampage, as you can see. I believe he just has Deoxys and then maybe one other one, I'm not remembering. But I'm going to go for a sub, expecting him to try to either run at this point or try to stall me out. But he does go for Recover, expecting to take a hit, so I'm going to disable the Recover and then just try to go for Shadow Balls at that point, you know, until it ends up dying, and then that's the game. It's a little bit of a longer one, but I really hope you guys enjoyed it. I've been wanting to save it for a special occasion, but I figured today's, well, it's Leap Day. That's kind of special. Only comes around once every 4 years. Don't really have anything too significant for that. Did he have anything left? I think Deoxys was the last one, and he just decided to run at that point, since I would have ended up taking it out in like 2 turns anyway. But that's a game. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, you're welcome to leave a like, rating, comment, subscribe, do your thing. Hopefully I can get all this shit done today, so that way this doesn't end up happening on Friday. I think I'm supposed to be helping a friend move in a couple days, so we'll see what happens there. And then I for sure do have job training coming up next week, so my schedule's going to be a little bit different. But that's what I got on the plate for you guys. Hope you enjoyed, and I will see you guys tomorrow.